Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Mouseketeer known as Stevie, and beside me is my co-host, the all-knowing crown jewel of Disney fandom, Cameron. We are just two fathers raised on the mouse, here to give you tips, tricks, news, and overall entertainment for all things Disney. So turn the volume up in your pumpkin carriage, or maybe you're using a magic mirror. Either way, we invite you to be our guest for an episode of Dadventures Around the Kingdom. Welcome, everybody. We are back for another episode of Dadventures Around the Kingdom. Cam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. We're back. Very excited. A lot of good feedback from that last episode where we ranked the Walt Disney World roller coasters. People excited to hear their names mentioned on the pod. So that was really fun. Excited for this episode as well, though.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's jump right into it. So, guys, as we said last time, we're going to kick things off with our Mouseketeer moments. So, Cam, tell me a little bit. What was your Mouseketeer moment this past week?
Yeah, so I've been really reading a really good book. It's called Dream Chasing. It's by a former Walt Disney Imagineer, I should say, Bob Weiss, who was also president of Walt Disney Imagineer at one point. It's basically an autobiography about his time with Imagineering at Disney and his help with developing parks like Hollywood Studios, then MGM Studios, but now Hollywood Studios, and Tokyo Disney Sea, which is like widely regarded as one of the most beautiful Disney theme parks, which I've never been to, but would love to one day. He also helped a really big part in helping with like the development and overseeing of Cars Land being built in Disney California Adventure. I love behind the scenes Disney stuff. Like I've done the Keys to the Kingdom tour at the Magic Kingdom Park, where you like go through the utilidors under the park and see all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's really cool to have like a book version of that, especially from like one of the guys who really helped shape Imagineering in like the 80s and stuff like that. So it's a really cool book. It's a big book. It's not that big. It's probably about like 450, 500 pages, something like that. What's nice, it's like little baby chapters, like 3 pages, something like that. So I haven't been reading consistently, but I'll read like 2 or 3 of the chapters a day and then put it down and read the actual book I'm reading. But it's nice little behind the scenes stuff. So that's been my Mouseketeer moment. I've been digging my way through that this week. What about you, Stevie?
So my Mouseketeer moment is this past weekend was getting a little yard work done, and we are currently working on a nice little landscaping garden area in the shape of Mickey Mouse. Now,
I did see this from your wife.
Yes. So it's not finished yet. We're still working on it. I'm not Magic Kingdom grounds crew, so doing the best that I can, but the good thing is when my daughter sees it, she does say Mickey, so I know it looks like Mickey. That is what counts.
I do think you're being very modest because, like I said, Katie showed me a picture. I know you said it wasn't done yet, but it looks perfect. It's exactly what you think it is. That's got to go up on the social media once it's officially done. So our listeners can see it too, but you're being too modest. It looks awesome. It really is good. I need to do it.
Yeah, hey, if you ever need help, just let me know. Your wife thought that I was stone cutting and everything like that. I was like, I know my way around Lowe's. That's really what it is. And I'm a very creative person. I know how to build things. My wife always finds it amazing how I can build anything. It does not matter how big it is, how small it is. I'm an old-fashioned handyman when I need to be.
I am not at all. My wife is the handyman in the relationship, so thank God for her, because I can't do anything. I can't even put a dresser together correctly. So props to you, buddy.
Well, I'm always there to help.
I appreciate it, Stevie.
Well, everybody, I think it's time that we get to our next segment, which is News with Cameron. So, Cam, you are the one that goes out into these lovely streets onto the internet, and you get us the Disney news straight from the mouse himself. So what do we have for Disney news this week?
Yeah, so we got quite a few news stories. So last episode we talked about Muppet Vision 3D, closing down, and that did close down on the day that it closed down, which was, what was that, June 7th, I think? Yeah, June 7th. We did get news that Rock and Roller Coaster will continue to star Aerosmith throughout 2025, but at some point in 2026, the Muppets will officially be taking over for the ride. So the ride's new name Nothing crazy. It's going to be Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, supposedly. That's all the details we got. We have nothing about like if there's going to be guest stars like musicians or something like that. It seems to me this is going to be a really, really quick, easy overlay. So like I could see a world where maybe this is closed down for like 2 or 3 months, which would be incredible if that's it for downtime. But it's also Disney, who is notorious for long downtimes to build and renovate stuff. So I can see this being 3 months or 2 years. I think it should be about 3 months in my, like, I have no basis off that.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to do quick and dirty. Here's a new ride. Here's a new ride video. Throw some colorful paint to make the car look like the Electric Mayhem went through it. Maybe throw a couple decorations in Rock and Roller Coaster. But honestly, you're going so fast with those neon lights and stuff like that. I don't think you have to go crazy in the inside.
That's what I was wondering.
Everything.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Redo, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I was wondering about like the lights on the inside. From what I remember from Rock and Roller Coaster, yeah, there's so many neon lights. And so I wonder if they would want to change any of that to be more Muppet specific. I could see, a couple of the band members maybe having like neon lights that are shining while you're flying through. Paint job. Obviously, they'll redo the pre-show, something along those lines. But it'd be very interesting to see, how fast this turnaround would be. I'm excited for this one.
My dream scenario would be, so like part of the neon lights that are in the ride is like some places like advertise like food places. I think it'd be very funny if they had a big neon light sign that said Pizza Rizzo as like a little callback to the pizza restaurant that just closed down with Muppets Vision 3D. That would be very funny. I do think this is gonna be quick though. Like the way they're saying they're gonna keep Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith throughout 2025, so they're not closing it. But at some point in 2026, it's gonna be closed. They didn't say it's gonna reopen in 2026, but I just see that it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a quick and easy turnaround. If they can put Christmas up in a day, let's get the Muppets done in a day. Basically, that'd be awesome.
That is true. I've watched the videos on Disney Plus of how they change things for Christmas, and it is crazy fast. It is unbelievable.
Next news story, that we got is tickets for Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four First Steps have gone on sale. Fandango reported that it was the most in-demand advanced ticket seller of 2025 so far. Box Office Theory reports that Fantastic Four First Steps is forecasting to gross between $125 and $136 million in its opening weekend. I'm very, very excited. The day those tickets came out, I bought my tickets, and what's really cool is I did not buy them for a movie theater in Massachusetts like I normally would. I actually bought them for the AMC at Disney Springs in Walt Disney World because I will actually be in Disney World for the opening weekend. And I was thinking to myself, after I come back from this trip, that's when I'll go see it. I don't want this to get spoiled. This is clearly going to be a movie that's going to directly go with Avengers Doomsday. Almost said Endgame, but Avengers Doomsday. Yeah. I cannot be spoiled with it. So I'm not seeing it the opening night, which is that Thursday. So I'm seeing it Friday night. I'm very excited. I'm also like a little fingers crossed because sometimes once in a while with these big movies, Disney will bring like one of the stars to the movies to the AMC. I think they did it for Brave New World for the Captain America movie. How cool would it be if Pedro Pascal was in my movie theater? It probably won't happen. It'll probably be a Thursday night showing is when if they're going to do this after things, they'll do it. But my God, if Pedro Pascal, I will literally just scream like crazy. I'll be so happy. That'll be really cool. But I'm excited to see the movie. We'll definitely be doing an episode about it. But good sign for the box office so far for Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. There have been, just like with the Hulk, there have been so many bottom of the barrel Fantastic Four movies in the past. The last one was not great.
Oh no, it wasn't even not great. It was garbage. Just straight.
Yeah. The first one that came out, I didn't think was that bad.
I loved it as a kid.
The one with Chris Evans in it. Yep. That one I did like. The Silver Surfer one, I didn't follow it as much, but then again, I was younger, so I wasn't following it as much. So I'm hoping that this one, they can smash this one out of the park. I do like Fantastic Four, so yeah.
Yeah. The first movie, I've watched it pretty recently, maybe not that recently, maybe within like 2-3 years. And I was like, oh, this did not hit the same way it did as a kid. But nostalgic wise, I still enjoyed that first one a lot with, like you said, the Chris Evans as Human Torch. The toys that came out for that movie, I like for Happy Meals, or I don't think it was McDonald's. I think, gun to my head, I think it was Burger King did the Fantastic Four toys.
I think so.
They were elite. I remember like the Invisible Woman, like if you put her in like water, like the toy turned clear,
like right?
Yeah, I think it was Burger King. I was just trying to look it up on my phone, and from what it says Burger King, but the toys were elite for these things. Like I definitely probably at my grandma's house still have the Thing, and I think I have Mr. Fantastic, and I have to have that Wonder Woman somewhere. Oh, not Wonder Woman, excuse me. Invisible Woman somewhere. Wrong franchise. But yeah, those toys were elite for that first movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last Disney related thing that I remember getting from a fast food restaurant was back in the 90s when they had the Disney movie cups.
Yep.
I had all the cups.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive my mom has thrown those out, but I used to have all the cups. But that was the last time. Again, I haven't been to Burger King in probably 6 years, but
I haven't been in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah. Huge contrast.
Yeah. All right. Next news story. So we talked about Piston Peak National Park coming in to where the Rivers of America is. And some other news that is associated with that now that I don't think we had at the time, but part of the July 7th closing date for the Rivers of America, so they can make way for Piston Peak National Park, which is the new Cars Land that's coming to Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. Disney also announced that July 7th, which is the day after the Rivers of America closes, Walt Disney World Railroad is going to be operating in a limited capacity. So the Frontier Land Station will be closed, and the train will operate exclusively as a shuttle between Main Street USA and Fantasyland. It will not do the loop.
Okay.
It will only go back and forth. So the train is set up where it can go one way and then just backtrack the other way in reverse. So like it's going to look kind of weird. The thing I don't think I realized until I was doing a little bit digging on this news search is supposedly they're not going to do the full loop of the train until after Villains Lands is open, which makes sense because that is going to be behind Frontierland, like behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yeah.
I see a world where that land isn't done for 10 years because I don't think they've really, besides like clearing some land, I don't think they've made any big progress in that area. And like I said before, Disney is notorious for how slow they are to build these things and get these things up. Like I think Galaxy's Edge was like 4.5 years they took, which again, maybe that's not slow in like the grand scheme of things, but it seems like a long time, especially with how quickly sometimes Universal puts out things. I could see this taking 10 years to complete this Villains Land in Magic Kingdom, which means that just the Walt Disney World Railroad is not going to be doing its thing accordingly how it's supposed to normally for 5+ years. It could easily be 10. So it's just going to be weird because that's something I always do on every trip is I do the Walt Disney World Railroad. I just like going around the park. I don't even use it to get from one area to the other. I just like taking a nice leisurely trip around the park on the train, especially with how much Walt Disney loved trains. Just a little interesting story. It might not be earth shattering for people, but I thought it was an interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I've watched the train. I've taken pictures of when cast members and characters have been up there on the train. Myself, I've never gotten on the train just because I didn't know if it was a ride or where it was taking me. So I'm getting my steps in when I'm at Disney. I'm
going to start making a list of things you haven't done at Disney. So the next time you go with me, you won't have anything you could say that about. That's my goal.
Yeah, there's going to be a list of they're minor things, but it is a list of things that I do need to check off next time I go to Disney, just because I've constantly overlooked them because I'm a big picture person.
Yeah.
And these are little fun things to do on this. These are side quests.
Yeah, we're gonna get the side quests done.
I'm a main guy.
The last news story we have, which as far as like attractions concerned, way more interesting than Walt Disney World Railroad in my opinion, but moving out west to Disneyland Resort. So we have some news about the Coco attraction in the Avatar area that's going to be coming soon. Construction for the new Coco ride will begin this fall. The ride will be located at California Adventure Park in an area that's currently being used as like backstage area for cast members of the park. The new Avatar area will also be coming to DCA, Disney California Adventure Park. There's not a lot of info as far as like a timeline for either of these experiences, but one thing that's going to be done to help out with like getting the Avatar area ready is that there's a ride there called Mike and Sully to the Rescue, which is like a dark ride inspired by Monsters Inc. That is set to close in 2026. A lot of speculation, which is almost guaranteed to happen, will be that a lot of the animatronics on that dark ride will absolutely just be shipped over to Walt Disney World to be used in the Monsters Inc. land that's happening. I guarantee they are absolutely repurposing those animatronics. But it's going to be coming for that Avatar land. Supposedly the Avatar land is not going to be the same thing as the one at Animal Kingdom Park. It's going to be more themes geared toward the second, maybe third or fourth movie, which the third and fourth movie haven't even come out yet. I'm not a big Avatar guy. I think I've seen the first movie, almost all of it, and because I fell asleep on a plane ride. I should watch it because I do like the Avatar area at Animal Kingdom, but I do know it's a big franchise. They did a great job with Pandora, World of Avatar at Animal Kingdom, so I would be interested in traveling over to Disneyland Resort to see this one day. But very excited about the Coco ride because I've been wanting the Coco ride to come to Epcot for years now.
Yeah, I love the Coco movie. It was probably one of those movies where, with a lot of other Disney movies, the story starts and you can really follow the story and you can kind of get ahead of yourself. Like, all right, I know where this is going. The Coco movie completely took me by surprise. Dela Cruz being, for those who haven't seen it, I'm sorry, spoiler.
This is an old movie. You can spoil it. Okay.
Dela Cruz being evil completely threw me for a loop. And then the final scene of singing Remember Me to Coco, it just knife ribs, gut wrenching.
No, that's one where, like, looking back, I'm like, how did I not get that Ernesto de la Cruz was going to be the bad guy? But that's what's beautiful about the movie is I was so engrossed in it that, like, I wasn't trying to solve the mystery of like who was who and whatever was happening. I was just so engrossed with it. So yeah, same thing. Big shock on that. As big of a shock as finding out that Hans is the bad guy in Frozen. I remember when I saw that happen the first time, I was like looking around because I was at his like a school event is where I watched Frozen for the first time. I didn't even see it in theaters. It was just like a movie night that the program council ran at Bridgewater State. And I just sitting there looking around like, oh my God, he's the bad guy. And everybody's like, yeah, Cam, this movie's been out for like 6-7 months. You're the Disney guy. Have you not seen this? I was like, I don't know. I didn't go see the Princess movie in theaters by myself because I was like, worried about my masculinity. Now I'll go see any movie because I don't give a crap anymore. But yeah, no, big shocking moment when you find out De La Cruz is the bad guy. But I love that movie. I really want some representation of it over at Disney World just because that's my park that I go to more. I've been to Disneyland since 2003, I think. Besides the little cutout we have of Dante and Miguel, that's all we have at Epcot with Coco. So I would love. I
love I love those topiaries every year when I
have those topiaries.
I love those topiaries.
Give me a ride. Give me a ride.
It will be nice to have a ride. And then you did say that you had some more on the Monsters Inc. stuff that was going on.
Basically, there's some new concept art that came out with it. So it looks like Muppets Theater is going to be called the Glorb or something like that. I don't even know the Glorb. I don't even know how you pronounce that.
Yep.
I do think this is all speculation here. There's one side of the new rendering of what the land's going to look like, and there's a building which is where Pizza Rizzo is as anymore. R.I.P. Pizza Rizzo. I'm convinced that building's still there, and it's in the first concept art and in the new concept art. I'm just convinced they haven't shown us like a sign or a billboard of anything like what that's going to be, because I'm convinced it's going to be a fast casual pizza place again, but Monsters Inc. theme, which would be very funny. That pizza at Pizza Rizzo and before that Pizza Planet was terrible. I still ate it all the time. I don't know why. I just felt special. I don't know, but they'll probably do. I think it's just going to be a regular like fast casual pizza place. I think that's what it's going to be, and they just haven't announced it yet. So I'm interested to see how they're going to do that. Which again, not anything earth shattering, but like speculation wise. But I'm like, ooh, they keep mystery a little bit around that building, and that's where I think it's going to be. The new rendering though clearly does show Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, I believe. Maybe that was the old one. I'm getting confused some of them, but
there's been like 2 or 3 of them so far.
The Laugh Floor is definitely coming to Hollywood Studios, is my opinion. Whether it's going to come to where Muppets Vision is, which I assumed it is, or somewhere else in that area, there's no way that thing doesn't leave Magic Kingdom, but we'll see.
If the Laugh Floor comes back, Disney, if you're listening, I know it scares children. Bring back the Stitch ride. I loved it.
They can bring that back right now, Stevie. He's in there.
I love it.
There's pictures of the robot Stitch because it's across the street. Well, whatever you're going to call it, across the way from Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. There's like a creepy picture you can find it online of that Stitch animatronic without like the fur and stuff like that. Yeah, terrifying. Give me my boy Stitch. We're gonna do eventually like an Imagineering episode one day where we're gonna just talk about like our dreams and hopes for things we want to come to Disney, and a Stitch attraction is top of my list. That guy is on as much merch as Mickey Mouse, like Walt Disney World branded merch.
Oh yeah, and
he has nothing besides some meet and greet character spots and the Ohana breakfast at Polly. That's it. That's all he's got.
Give Stitch his due. He deserves it. Stitch is a staple.
And some people hate that he's a staple. I don't. That's my guy. Give me more Stitch entertainment in the parks, please, and thank you, Disney.
Yes, 100%. Well, now let's move into our topic of the week. So this week we chose the topic of tips for a Disney family vacation. So many times now, we tried our best to create this list. Both Cam and I made our own list of about 5 or so, and this is going to be for anybody. We tried to be as broad as possible. So whether you're going with little kids, whether you're going with teenagers, we believe that these tips can help you out in many, many ways. So Cam, as our Disney mastermind, as our resident travel agent, how about you kick things off with give us one of your tips for a Disney family vacation?
Absolutely, Stevie. So one of my tips, and this is not in any specific order, but my first tip I'm going to give is to get snacks and drinks delivered to your hotel. Disney is expensive. There's no question about it, right? Like I said, travel a lot to Walt Disney World. I think a soda is like $4 or $5 now in the parks, like just a regular bottle of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's so expensive. I know you can get free water at Disney parks. The Florida water is god awful. So please save yourself from that. What we like to do as a family, we do one of two things. We either use Amazon and get like things like waters, chips, Oreos, things sent to our hotel room, which you can easily get your address for your hotel on the My Disney Experience app. The other thing my parents like to do instead, because they like picking out their own fruit and stuff like that, because most of our hotels that we have a fridge, they will actually like take an Uber for like, I don't know, $10 to $15 to Walmart, do a huge Walmart run or Publix run, whatever, for snacks, drinks, all that stuff, and bring it back to the room. The one thing you'll want to check with this is what's your room setup. Some hotels, like the deluxe hotels, will have like an actual mini fridge, or depending on if you get like a 1-bedroom suite, will have like a full-on fridge in the room. But some other rooms, like in the value resorts, they have like an ice chest kind of thing instead. So you just want to be careful about what you're getting delivered to the hotel, especially if it needs to be kept frozen or cold or anything like that. But it's a great way to save money, especially if you can go buy a whole case of waters for like $5-6 from the Walmart or Publix near Walt Disney World. 1 water bottle, 2 water bottles, let's say, pays for that whole thing that you didn't have to buy in the park. So it's a huge money saving tip that I really enjoy sharing with people, because it's super easy to do. You can even get alcohol shipped to your room if you really want that. We've done that where we've gotten like our ciders or wine coolers, whatever, sent to our room. So at the end of a nice park day, we have a drink that's way cheaper than anything Disney can afford or that you'd pay for at Disney. Highly recommend doing this. Get your snacks and drinks that you want to enjoy, because you can bring in any food and drinks you want to the park. As long as they're not in glass bottles, you're good to go. So definitely you don't have to.
Yeah, this is one that you and your wife put my family onto is ordering things from Amazon. Going with, and this is a great tip, because whether you are going with little children or you're going with teenagers, it is so much better to just order that stuff from Amazon, get it delivered right to your room. It's huge. Like you said, I would easily say one of the biggest complaints that people have is Disney is expensive. And I understand that Disney can be expensive, but getting some of those snacks and stuff that you're used to, whether it is protein bars, whether you just want, some Cheez-Its, Honey Nut Cheerios, all that good stuff, Teddy Grahams, you can get all of that sent. Now, another great thing that I know we both used last time that we went was for our daughters. Anyone with young children knows that when you go anywhere, there's so much that you have to pack. Mm-hmm. But especially using this tip, knowing that you can order from Amazon, we didn't have to pack as many diapers, as many toddler pouches, as many Gerber puffs. Mm-hmm. We got all of that delivered. I got a box of wipes, wet baby wipes, and a box of diapers shipped right to the hotel.
And you were good for that whole week without having to pack it. It's huge, Steve. It's huge. It's
such a key expert tip, because if I had to pack all of those diapers, that's another suitcase that I'm paying for to bring. And then on the way home, granted, I know when my daughter gets older, she will love that extra suitcase because it will be filled with Disney toys and my wallet will cry about it. But I didn't want to have to bring another suitcase with me with just the stuff that she needed, with formula, with, like, as I said, the pouches, the snacks, all of that stuff. So using Amazon to bring all of that, it is huge.
And some people don't like to use Amazon because they have their own beliefs about Amazon. That's fine too. Tons of the stores deliver. I think Publix delivers. You could do store pickup at Walmart. Like I said, you can
there's Instacart if you want to use Instacart instead.
There's so many different options. So I use Amazon. I just always plug that one just because that's what I use. There's so many options, and like I said, it gets delivered right to your hotel. You get all that stuff, put it up in your room, and you save so much money in the parks. Especially if you have a big family that every kid wants a water or soda or something like that. Well, no, you can save that money and put that towards your t-shirt, toys, whatever you want to do, or just put it back in your pocket for the next Disney trip. It's a huge savings.
Exactly. Instead of buying a $5 soda from the parks, you can go ahead and get yourself a 6-pack from Amazon for $9 and then just bring it into the park. It's perfectly fine. And so, especially if you bring a water bottle, a Yeti, you can bring coolers. So,
as long as it's soft-sided, like little lunch boxes, you're good on those.
Yes. Obviously, we're not, this isn't summertime by the lake, but you can bring a little cooler with a couple of things, and it's perfect.
And that's what we do all the time. We literally pack an ice pack from our house that goes into our packing thing, and we'll just freeze that overnight. We'll wrap up a couple water bottles, sodas, whatever, put that in the bag, and then we're good for that part. Most of the time we're going back for naps or even just to go to the pool. So when we go back to the hotel, we refill that bag with more sodas, more water. So then we're good for the nighttime too. It's a great win-win situation. But I know that was a little long for the first tip. So Stevie, what's your first tip?
So to be honest, my first tip, I'm going to take yours a little step further.
Cool.
Get familiar with your guest services at your hotel. Guest services especially at Disney, is so much more than just bellhops and helping you check in. They can help you know about activities that are going on at your hotel. I remember when we checked in at Art of Animation, they let us know, hey, we're going to have a movie night. We have pool parties that are going on. We have all this fun stuff, special dinner nights thing. They can help with reservations. All this stuff you can do at guest services. And it's also fun for me. I'm somebody that, as you can see up here, I like to do the pin trading. Guest services has some awesome pins to trade for. So, and then another big thing, when we went with our daughters, I was able to call guest services, and something else that I would have had to pack, calling guest services, they provided me, you can book a playpen or a crib.
Mm-hmm. They even have high chairs you can get.
Yeah, they have high chairs. They have all of this. Get familiar with your guest services. As I said, they're not just bellhops. They're not just there to check you in. They know so much more. And I think it's criminal how little people utilize them.
The cast members are the best at Disney World. I absolutely love the cast members. I try to believe in my heart. Obviously, every job is going to have some jerks that don't care what their job is, but for the most part, by and large, I have almost never had any bad experience with the cast member between maybe 1 or 2 times that I've gone 30 something times in my life. The cast members truly want to make sure you have a magical vacation, so they use their knowledge, use their experience, get the help. They're great. They're so awesome there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, hey, every now and then you're going to meet a cast member that might be having a Donald Duck kind of day. But for the most part, they are all happy. They are smiling. And all they want to do is make sure that you're having the most magical time while you are at Disney World.
100%.
So what do you got for me, Cam?
My next tip, especially if you're going with young kids, is do the character dining. Okay. The price can be a sticker shock. I totally get that. I was just talking about money saving tips, and now I'm telling you, go spend a lot of money, like sometimes $50-$60 per adult. And at Disney, adult means anyone over the age of 10. So you're 10-year-old, they're an adult. So I totally get it's expensive. It's cool to do at least 1 or 2 of them, especially if you have kids that are interested in the characters that are going to be at that buffet. I feel like the buffets I've been going to lately, the character buffets, have been a lot better than what I remember they being as a kid. My new number 1 character buffet that I honestly think we'll go to forever, even if my daughter doesn't really care about character meet and greets in the future, simply because the food is that good, is, I believe it's pronounced Ocker House at the Epcot Norway Pavilion. It's right next to the Frozen ride there. It's really cool. They don't advertise which princesses are going to be there, but it's basically 4 to 5 of the Disney princesses will be in attendance for your breakfast. The food was phenomenal. There was these like cheesy potato things that I could have eaten forever. I remember the waiter was even like, these are the best. I think they were waffles on property. And I was like, okay, well, it's a waffle, dude. Like what I had Disney waffles, they're all the same. No, this is not. It had like a little lemony taste. It was fantastic. But the cool thing too was, like I said, my daughter's super into princesses. So we met 4 of the princesses the time we went. I think we met like Ariel, Snow White, Belle, and Aurora, which is great too, because the other opposite side of character dining is if you do have a kid that's really into characters, some of those character wait times to meet and greet are super, super long. We were able to knock off 4 of the princesses right then and there without having to wait in long lines, which is really, really awesome. Sometimes Snow White has huge lines in the Germany pavilion. Didn't have to wait in that because we already have a picture, and my daughter knew, well, I didn't need to see Snow White. I already saw her this morning at breakfast. We're good to go. So it can be a huge time saving thing too, because if you can get 4 or 5 character meet and greets for kids that like that kind of thing within an hour and a half of your meal, that's a huge plus. So, like I said, it's not really a tip per se, but it kind of is, because you get those character interactions that are really cute. But I can't recommend character dining enough. We are obsessed with it. Even before my daughter, we would always do at least 1 or 2. And not even because of the characters, because the food is generally pretty good lately, at least in my experience. So definitely highly recommend character dining, especially shout out to Ocker House. That might be my new favorite. It's not my new favorite restaurant, but it is up there, especially for breakfast, which is great.
Yeah, I agree with this one. I would definitely say, no matter what age your children are, if possible, try and book at least 1 character dining experience. There's so many to choose from. I would say my personal favorite is Ohana's. I loved Ohana's. But other than that, I think my second favorite would probably be you would know the name of it, Cam, the restaurant at the top of the Rivieras.
Topolino Terrace. Fantastic.
Beautiful view. We got to meet Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy. Now, again, yes, it can be a little pricey, but you're meeting so many characters, which in turn,
the A-list characters too.
A-list characters, and you're saving so much time from waiting in line at Magic Kingdom or any of the other parks to meet these characters. And it is a great memory to have with your family. And so especially if you have young kids, my daughter being able to eat Mickey Mouse waffles and meet Daisy Duck and high five Minnie Mouse, it might have been her highlight. So I would definitely say for anybody that's going, try and book at least one character dining. You will not regret it. There's so many to choose from.
The one side tip I want to give that I just think about right now, before you do a character dining, try to book that toward the middle or end of your trip, especially if you have young kids who have never really met costume characters before, because test how they do with the characters of the park. I know one day a kid could be fine and the next day they want nothing to do with those characters, but test how they do at the park once or twice first, because if you're just getting a kid that's screaming and hates it and is afraid of the characters, that's okay, but give yourself enough time to like cancel that reservation, because if you don't cancel it at a certain period of time, you get charged, I think it's like $20-$25, whatever it is, for no showing or canceling it too late. So you don't want to put your kid through like them screaming and being terrified at lunch or breakfast or dinner with the characters kind of thing. So give them a little test run. We kind of did that with our daughters, where we met Olaf, Mickey, and Minnie, and they did great with them, so that we know, okay, we can keep our Topolino Terrace reservation. They should be okay. Again, I know things could change. They also could have been terrified of these characters. Yeah, but they weren't, and we did a little test run with characters, you mean mascotted characters. So that's my little side tip to this tip.
I know the next time I go to Disney, one thing that I will have to worry about with my daughter is she might actually tackle Mickey.
I almost ripped Donald's bill off the last time we went. She was so excited to grab onto Donald. It was hilarious. Well, not really, but it was a little funny.
So they're going to be so happy that they might get aggressive. So Mickey, Minnie, beware.
What's your number 2, Stevie?
So my next one, if you are a Disney goer, this might not seem like a big tip, but if you are new to going to the Disney parks, this is huge. It actually surprised me that a lot of people don't actually do this. Get the magic bands. There's a lot of people that actually don't get magic bands. They are so useful. You can use them in so many places. When I get to Disney, so I have my magic band with me. I actually have a Power Lines one that I got for the 30th anniversary that I cannot wait to use the next time that I go to Disney, because I love Power Lines. But when I get to the parks, I have my magic band set up. I have my credit card or debit card set up to it. So that way, if my family, my wife, my daughter, if they want to eat something, all my wife or I need to do is just tap our magic bands. The magic bands work pretty much everywhere on Disney property, for if you need to pay for anything. It works for getting into the parks. It holds your ticket. So now you don't have to fumble around with any other electronics or any other tickets or anything along those lines. It will be your key to get into your hotel room. And then as well, throughout the parks, there's a lot of fun little activities that the magic bands can interact with and give you a little extra magic. So if you have the chance, again, magic bands are not mandatory, but I would suggest getting the magic bands. And if you get a cool one, the great thing is, I know when you book a trip, a lot of times a few weeks or months or so before your trip, they will give you little discounts on getting magic bands. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't like the selections that they have, you can get a magic band at the parks. And guest services, way more options. And guest services can help you set it up. It is perfect. So definitely invest in the magic bands. They make a great souvenir to come home with. But yes, that is my tip. Get the magic band.
I like the magic bands. So I like it because I go to Disney once or twice every year, basically. So I use it quite frequently. I will say, if you're not sure if you're going to be traveling to Disney that often, like Stevie said, you don't really need it. It's $45 you can save, I think, but what they are really helpful and resourceful that you can just tap and go basically throughout the parks. I would say because they're rechargeable, if you are planning on going multiple times, at least like maybe even if it's once every couple years, a few years, whatever it is, absolutely invest in it. But don't feel like you need to. But they are super helpful. I definitely agree with that for sure, Stevie.
Yeah, because I know the rechargeable Magic Bands, I looked it up. They're good for, I believe the battery in them is good for up to 5 or 6 years.
And even that, they go way past that. My very first Magic Band 1.0, I remember when I bought it, it was like an Olaf one. They were like, oh, these last 2 years. That thing, I could still tap into my hotel with it in July. And it's been 11 years since I bought that. I bought it in 2014. I remember specifically when I bought it. That thing still works, which is wild. So
the Magic Bands are a plus. They are great, very resourceful tools to have. Like we said, they're not mandatory, but if you can get the Magic Band, you will not be disappointed.
100%. My next tip, is to designate a meeting point in every park in case anybody gets lost. This is something that my wife and I will definitely be implementing as my daughter gets older, because she probably won't have a cell phone, hopefully for a little while. Who knows nowadays? I think kids are born with cell phones, but she's 2. She does not have a cell phone. It's really, really important because any park you go to at Disney World is a really big park. If your child can speak, so my daughter can speak pretty clearly, I'm sure that next trip that we go with her, we'll say, hey, if you get lost, we're going to try to meet at whatever, maybe it's Small World. Because what can happen is she can tell a cast member, my mommy or daddy said to meet at Small World if we get lost. So that cast member has a general idea. They can bring that kid over to that area and hopefully we can meet them there. This actually saved my butt when I was a kid in 2003. When I went to Disneyland, I got lost for like 2 minutes. I was able to tell a cast member, like my mom and dad said, if we got lost, to meet at the Matterhorn, which we were pretty close to anyway. So the cast member walked me over to the Matterhorn, and sure enough, my dad was right there, panicked, looking for me because I just got lost in the shuffle of the crowd. It was my first time at Disneyland, so I'm like looking around everywhere, and we just got separated at one point. So it was super, super helpful, especially in an age where I didn't have a cell phone. I know Disney would have been fine. We would have figured it out. It would have been able to be found eventually. But having a place that you know your kid can meet you at, if they remember that place, or that you can meet your parents at, is really great in an age where you might not have a cell phone. Even if you don't know where you're around the park, as long as you can tell a cast member we're meeting at Small World, then they can get you there. I'm using that as an example. Good tip would be do it as your kid's favorite ride or movie or something like that, something related to it. So I'm sure when we're at Hollywood Studios, it'll be something Toy Story Land related. Or if we're at Epcot, it might be we're going to meet at Frozen if we get lost. Something that your kid can remember. Like I said, it saved my butt when I was 7 and got lost in Disneyland. So I highly recommend that system.
Yeah, that is a great. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's definitely a great tip, because there's so much going on at Disneyland. It is, or Disneyland, Disney World. It doesn't matter which Disney location you are at. There's so much going on. There's so many people. It is easy to kind of get lost in the shuffle. I know my daughter now doesn't want to sit in the stroller all the time. She wants to walk, and I can easily see her seeing something and just a flight risk taking off. And so knowing that there's, a location where it's like, all right, we're going to meet, right in front of the castle, or, something along those lines would definitely be very, very helpful. So you're not, sifting through thousands and thousands of people that are all, trucking around.
Yeah. And hopefully that tip never has to be used, but I think it's a good one, in my opinion, to have in your back pocket, just in case. Like I said, when I was 7, it happened to me, and now I have a cell phone. I'm also 30. My parents losing me is not a big deal to them. But it is.
They might try to lose you, to be completely honest.
Yeah. But it's also nice too, like if you get separated, and even if you have a cell phone and somebody's like, oh, I'm at this place, having a designated meeting spot is huge. You can always ask a cast member if you don't know where you're going to help you get to that location, so you can meet up with your family, your loved ones, friends, whoever you're with on vacation. Super helpful.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So my next one And it was something that we used the last time that we went. And to be completely honest, the more I think about it, I wish that I did this when I went when it was just me and my wife. And I think it would have helped when I was a teenager as well. Take a travel day. So have one day. I'm somebody that likes to get on that early flight to wherever it is I'm going, whether it is, the Caribbean, whether I'm going to California, visiting another state. I'm always looking for that, 4:30, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. flight. Now, flying in general, there's something about airports that just sucks the life out of you. It drains you, and especially when you are going with family, it can be draining. Don't feel the need to rush to parks on that first day. It's so great to just take a travel day on that first day where you get in, you check into your hotel, maybe you take a nap, you check out the pool, you check out your resort. It just so that way you're not flustered getting into the park, because the thing is, if you have a certain amount of park days, if you're not an annual pass holder or something along those lines, you don't want to waste your first day in the park being a half day and you're already behind on things. You don't really have a lightning lane or a Genie Plus or anything along those lines. Just take that day to kind of relax, to, maybe you want to do something like ride the Skyliner or, go to Disney Springs or something along those lines. Or like I said, just
go mini golfing.
Yeah, mini golf. There's so many other things to do at Disney than go to the parks. So take that travel day to just kind of rest up. And then the next day you can hit the ground running, flying through rope drop, and hit all the rides refreshed, ready to go. So yeah, take that travel day. And especially for young kids, because it takes a lot out of them as well. They're in a new place, new experience. I don't know about your daughter, Cam, but I know for my daughter, it doesn't matter how many times she's been somewhere. When we go down to the Cape, she is just not herself. She's drained on that first day. Mm-hmm. So that taking that time to rest up is crucial to have the best start to your vacation.
Yeah. So you're saying this tip to me, Stevie, and my skin is crawling because I'm like, what do you mean you're not going to a park? But I co-sign 100% on this tip because this is a show about tips of going to Disney with a family. Okay. 100% agree, because forget your kid being tired, going through the airport, all that stuff. I'm tired, making sure she's good, making sure we have every luggage, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Our first trip, I wanted to go to a park so badly with my child and my wife. And granted, that's also because our vacations were different, right? You and your wife and your daughter, well, your daughter was not 3 yet, so she didn't need a park pass, but you and Katie had specific days. You had a specific amount of days. We had the annual pass. We technically could have gone to Epcot even just to grab a drink or a bite to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was huge to just get to the hotel, get settled in. Do we have the crib? Nope. Okay, have that brought up from guest services. Did we get our Amazon order? Yep, we got that. Okay, great. Let's walk around, get acclimated to the hotel, all that stuff. So that's huge. Pre-kid, this is the stupidest tip in the world because I wanted to just go, but I totally agree with you on that. There's a funny story that my parents like to tell, that there was one time when I was in college that me and my parents went to Disney, and a bunch of my mom's friends and their family went to, and we had rented a car at that point. We took the car over to Old Key West to go like catch up to my mom's friends because they were having breakfast. And we're just all standing there. We weren't hungry. They were finishing up their breakfast. And I'm like, I can't do this. I saw a Magic Kingdom bus coming through. And I was like, I'll see you guys in an hour. So I just went to Magic Kingdom because I am that go person. But I've had to become not that go person with a family, with a child now. And that's a huge tip. So I'm glad that we didn't just rush off to a park Kylie's first day or any day after that. We just got our feet wet, got in, next day we can hit the ground running first thing as soon as rope drop happens. So definitely agree with that tip.
Yeah, because I also know, I remember you telling me, you were like, oh, I can't wait for my daughter to see the castle, and for us to be on Main Street. And just think about, if you guys were to go on that first day, if she's cranky or tired or anything, or even just a little jet lagged from just an earlier morning than usual. I don't know about your daughter, but my daughter did not sleep on the plane.
No.
So there's so much going on there. And then to get them there and then they're cranky. You don't want them to be cranky their first time on Main Street. You want them to be happy and smiling.
Yeah. And they're not going to remember that, but I will. If that first Main Street experience went bad, it would have been fine, right? Like, it is what it is. A kid is a kid. But I would have been like, damn, we didn't have that moment, which we did, thankfully, with both our girls. And that was awesome that first day when we went to Magic Kingdom. And that was because we went the day after we landed. So 100% agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's exactly what you want. So yeah. What do you got for me, Cam?
So my next tip is to buy Memory Maker. So if people don't know, there are PhotoPass photographers around. I'm going to talk about Disney World. I'm sure Disneyland has it too, but honestly, I don't know really. I think they have it.
I think so.
They definitely have PhotoPass in Disneyland. There's no way Disney's not making money. But anyway, PhotoPass photographers are all around Disney World. They have them at different icons like the castle, Spaceship Earth. They have them at character meet and greets, all these cool things. There's like 14 or 15 rides that have that take your picture. And what Memory Maker is you get all those photos, right? So it's $185. That way, when you're taking your pictures in front of the castle, on this ride, when they take your picture going down Tiana's Bayou Adventure, when you're meeting Mickey Mouse for the first time, they have PhotoPass photographers or PhotoPass photo booths that are constantly taking your pictures. And by doing that $185, you're getting access to those photos. So it's a really cool way. So that way, instead of mom or dad taking all the pictures and not being in the photos, I know you can hand that over to a cast member and they're happy to take your pictures too. But it's nice to have those cool professional photos from a PhotoPass photographer to capture those moments. And it's only $185, which again, I know sounds expensive, but go with me here. On my Disney experience, you can link your travel party basically. So on my Disney experience, I have me, my wife, and my daughter, but then I can also become friends with other people. So like I have my dad and my mom on my friends list. I have you and your wife on my friends list. I have some other like family members on my friends list. You just need one Memory Maker. So like for me, I have the Memory Maker. We buy it every time because we want those awesome pictures.
Yep.
And it's $185. Well, Stevie, if you tap your Magic Band with a PhotoPass person and the photo comes in, you're going to get the watermarked on yours, but I can see it on mine without the watermark. I can download that picture and send it to you. So there is workarounds here where if you're going on a trip with 2 or 3 other families or whatever, you can all say, hey, we're going to split this. One person buys it. You all give me cash for Venmo me, whatever. And then every time you tap your Magic Band and get your PhotoPass pictures, I'll download it. I'll text it to you. You got all these great pictures. So I highly recommend it. Thank God for PhotoPass photographers. I got engaged at Disney World. And that PhotoPass photographer, God bless this person's soul, took like 50 million pictures. So I basically had a professional photographer taking pictures of us not for free because I paid $185 for Memory Maker. But essentially it felt like for free, where I got all these awesome photos of me proposing to my wife to the side of Cinderella's castle. And I just had them on my Memory Maker, was able to download them. You have access to download these pictures 45 days. Chances are you're downloading them that night. As soon as you're on the bus back to your hotel, you're downloading those pictures, saving them on your phone, sending them out to people, putting them on the gram. Cannot recommend Memory Maker enough. You will regret not having some of those pictures, especially those fun ride pictures. I guarantee you, if you don't buy it, you will regret not getting it at some point later down the line. At a certain point, you lose access to those photos. It's a great tool. Like Stevie, I know I was sending you your pictures that you were getting, and that's what's cool too. Is like, Stevie, when you go next May, I don't think me and my family are going next May, but I'll get those pictures. Well, my Memory Maker will be expired, but let's say it's not. I could get those pictures, and even though I'm up here in Massachusetts, I could technically send you those, so you're good to go and have those photos, which is really cool.
Yeah, I plan on getting Memory Maker the next time we go. I wish that I had gotten it from the beginning because I would always see those the photographers all over the place. Also, again, added bonus, going back to another tip, you can connect those photos that are taken and they go right onto the Magic Band.
Mm-hmm.
You tap your magic band and you got them instantly. So again, great resource. But yes, the photo pass, the memory maker, it is awesome to have. You can take pictures anywhere. They're like, as you said, they're at pretty much all of the major locations of where you're going to want a picture. Disney does a great job of knowing where everyone wants to take pictures. I think there's like 4 photographers on Main Street alone.
Honestly, probably more.
Yeah, probably more.
You're like 10 feet, feels like. It's very funny.
Because they know everybody wants a picture on Main Street. They all want the castle in the background. But then anytime that you go to a meet and greet of a character, they're also there. So they can take all those pictures of you, your family with these characters. And it is a great time. Like you said, it's professional photo. My wallpaper on my laptop has been my wife and daughter, the 3 of us in front of the castle at Magic Kingdom, a picture that was taken by the PhotoPass people, the photographers. It is easily my favorite picture. I look at it and I'm just kind of like, my daughter looks so much older now than she does in that picture, but I love that picture. I will blow it up. I will put it on a wall somewhere. And every time that we go back now, the memory maker is a non-negotiable for me. It is 100%. Always going to be, it's always going to be something that I make sure that I purchase.
Yeah. What's your next step, CV?
So my next tip is, again, another one that I feel like a lot of people overlook because it's not a park. But check out Disney Springs. I love, next to Epcot, which is my favorite park, I love Disney Springs. There's a lot of great restaurants there. There's a movie theater there. I believe it's the Planet Hollywood is over there. There's so many great little shops. And especially if you are somebody that wants to, as most do, you want to bring home some souvenirs, whether it's for your family, whether it's for other family members. World of Disney, the biggest hub that there is for all of your Disney needs, is going to be there. They're pretty much, I would easily say, 90% of what is sold at any of the parks at Disney World can be found at World of Disney. Obviously, you're going to have a few little themed things that are different. So obviously, you'll have certain things where it's like, you have to go to Animal Kingdom for this, for like maybe a specific Safari Mickey or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But
those
World of Disney is huge. Yeah, there's park specifics.
If you want a Mickey doll, you're getting it there. If you want a T-shirt, chances are you're going to be able to get it there. As long as it's not a park specific, you are finding it at the World of Disney. And it's some of the other shops too, like Once Upon a Toy and stuff like that as well.
Yes, there's so much stuff there. I know there's Goofy Candy Company that's over there. I believe there's a Pin Traders over there.
Biggest pin store.
If you want Joffrey's coffee, you will get the best at Disney Springs. There is a
huge Christmas store. Just all Christmas stuff.
A lot of Christmas stuff. There's so much at Disney Springs, and I feel like a lot of people skip over it because they think, well, it's not a park, so I don't really know if I want to go there. Trust me, it's also great to have in the middle of your trip, as just like maybe you want to take a day or like a little break from going to the parks, or maybe you might go earlier in the day and just be like, I don't know, let's see how it is. Check out Disney Springs. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Great restaurants, great food, great drinks, great place to buy souvenirs. It is a good spot to go to.
Yeah, when I go in July, I'm going to Animal Kingdom Lodge, dropping off my suitcase, and getting the next bus over to Disney Springs for dinner. Some of the best meals I have on Disney property are at Disney Springs, whether it's T-Rex, Polite Pig is awesome. The greatest Walt Disney World restaurant, in my opinion, right now is Homecoming, which has the greatest food ever, in my humble opinion. Chef Art's Homecoming, I believe is what the restaurant's called. And then, like I said, the shopping options are great. There's a Marvel store that they're not allowed to call Marvel. It's like superhero, blah, blah, blah. Universal Studios things. But then they have like other shops too. Like if you're interested in like Fair Bradley, they have a Fair Bradley store. They have like legitimate like non-Disney stores too. They have an art store, that Disney Christmas store I talked about. Really cool stuff. Good vibes. It's open late too, so especially after the parks are closed, you could always pop over there. Maybe not with families because you're not going to be out Disney Springs at 12 a.m. But still a good spot. Like you said, Stevie, too, especially if you're going in and you only have X amount of park day tickets. It's a way to get that Disney magic by going to that World of Disney store and seeing the Disney entertainment options and stuff like that too, without spending money on a actual park ticket that you might only use for a couple hours because you're not there on that travel day. Really great opportunity.
Yeah.
My last tip, and this is a really big selfish plug, but I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't believe it, is to use a travel agent when booking your Disney vacation. I love booking Disney vacations, and that's why I became a travel agent, because fortunately for me, because I get to be a travel agent, but unfortunately for like a lot of families, Disney is a very stressful planning process. If you don't know Disney like the back of your hand, there are some things that you're skipping, and maybe ignorance is bliss. You won't have any idea that you're missing these cool opportunities.
Yep.
But the second you found out about them, you're going to get FOMO. And a Disney travel agent, or just a travel agent in general, they're trained. They know those good tips and tricks. They're willing to work with you to help plan those vacations. Like I said, I know Disney like the back of my head, specifically Disney World. I know those tips and tricks. As a travel agent, I love to tell those tips and tricks to my clients. I like to help them find deals. And that's what's cool too, is Disney's always doing these, not always, but a good amount of time are doing these promotions. And by going through a travel agent, if you have a good travel agent, I like to think I'm a good travel agent, we're constantly looking at your package, right? So like I did a Disney hotel and park ticket package for a family recently. And within like a couple weeks, all of a sudden Disney released new like discounts kind of thing. Well, as a family that might not have looked at that, because this is a family that I think they went to Disney like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. They're not really sure about all those things. They're not going to be constantly looking for that stuff. As a travel agent, I get an email anytime Disney releases a new like package or discount or anything like that. I'm immediately going to the Disney travel agent website and I'm pricing out, if this person did the same exact package, would it save them any money, even if it's $5? And I will not cancel that reservation, but I'll change that reservation to get that $5 savings. I don't care. A travel agent will, if they're good, and again, I like to think I'm good, will stay on top of that stuff. I was able to apply a different discount for one of these clients that I had that saved them like $30. And again, I know in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in a bucket in a Disney vacation, but that $30 is a t-shirt. It is a counter service meal. So any little bit helps. And that person even said, like, they're like, thank you. I would not have even thought to look for this discount or try to reprice it. So use a travel agent. They're really, really helpful. Depending on your travel agent, they might be able to do some cool things for you. So like for me personally, one thing I do for all my clients is if you want to book any dining reservations, you can do it 60 days in advance. I think it's at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I think it's 6 a.m. I will get up for you and I will book those dining reservations so you can sleep in that morning. Because sometimes these reservations, if you're not on those at 6 a.m., you're not getting that Topolino Terrace reservation. But if you have a dedicated travel agent and they're willing to do that for you, like I said, I love setting my alarm. I'll set it for 5:45. I'll set another one for 5:50, another one for 5:55, 5:59. I'm at my computer ready to go. So at 6 a.m., boom, let's get you Topolino's. Let's get you Be Our Guest. Let's get you to Chef Art's Homecoming. And they'll get those reservations for you, which is really cool too. And like I said, if you have a good travel agent, they're constantly willing to work with you. Like I said, it's a passion of mine to help plan Disney vacations, which is why I became a travel agent. And I love sharing my knowledge about Disney and the parks and my tips and tricks. So I constantly tell my clients like, hey, I might be working and I might not get back to a text right away, but if you have any questions when you're at your Disney vacation, the second I can see those when I'm at work or whatever I'm doing in life, I will get back to you. And I don't need to do that, but it's because I like to do that. And a lot of the travel agents here, but they're great and they'll do that. The big selling point for the travel agent is, at least for me, it costs you no additional money. The way that any really vacation place works Steve, if you booked your own Disney trip, you are paying a travel agent commission fee that if you don't go with a travel agent, Disney is just pocketing that money. So it doesn't, like, for me, like if you want to reach out to me to help book a trip, I can get you a free, no obligation quote. And then the price that you would pay if you spent the time to try to book your own vacation is the same price you would pay with me. But like I said, I'm going to look for extra discounts as they come up to try to rebook packages, things like that. So definitely use travel agents, use their resources, because it's literally, I can't explain this enough, $0 extra for you to use a travel agent. And you get that wealth of knowledge and information. So definitely use a travel agent.
Yeah, I agree. So, I don't think there's really much more to be said. If you are going to Disney World, if you are going to Disneyland, get a travel agent. More specific, get Cam. Got a travel agent, get Cameron. Cam, I will be using you when I take my family in 2026. And all I need to know is that you make sure that my wife and I get our reservation at the boathouse.
I got you, buddy. I got you. No, thanks for that plug. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I was trying to do just travel agent in general, but selfishly, this is my podcast. This is our podcast. I'm going to plug myself. If you have any interest in booking a Disney World or Disneyland vacation, or even Universal Studios, I'm going to start hopefully doing more Universal Studios, whether it's specifically Universal Orlando, especially with Epic Universe coming out. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Magical Vacates by Cam. Or you can reach out to me on my email is probably the best way I communicate with people, especially when just to create that email chain when I'm sending quotes back and forth is Cameron at remembermevacations.com. Remember Me Vacations is the company I work for. They're a pretty brand new company, and the two women that run it, Jill and Chelsea, they're fantastic. I love working for them. And like I said, this is just my little side hustle that I love to do. So definitely hit me up. It's really, really fun for me. I don't even care about the commission I make. I just generally have fun doing it. So would love the business. So definitely consider me.
Yeah, definitely.
I get $0 extra, but now Stevie, you're fifth and final.
So my final one, Cam, this is a tip that I know you've been using for years. More importantly, since you got your daughter. Some might find it funny, but bring an external family member. Bring an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a grandparent. Bring somebody, because it is going to be great. This is for the parents. If you want a date night, if you want to just experience just a moment to go watch the fireworks with your significant other, bring grandma, grandpa. On my next trip, I am bringing my brother. So my daughter's uncle will be coming along with his girlfriend. And I am looking forward to having a night or two where we can just go to Epcot, go to Disney Springs, either check out some fireworks, have a couple of drinks, and just enjoy the night once we put our daughter down to bed. Unfortunately, Cam, when we went with you guys, we didn't have anyone else. So it was once my daughter went down at 7 p.m., it was just myself, my wife, and the television. And every now and then I would sneak out. I'd go to the poolside over by Art of Animation, and I would get myself a pina colada. But bring an external family member. It is great. And if they are going to be a part of your package, they can help pay for some of it. Mm-hmm. And it won't be as much as if they were to pay for just themselves to go. Mm-hmm. So bring an external family member. It will be great. This one, again, family vacations. This one is specifically for the parents.
Yes.
Bring grandparents or somebody.
And the whole point of Disney vacations, right, is not the whole point, but like a big part, especially going with family, is to spend that family time. But yeah, you do want that time one-on-one with your significant other. It's romantic. Disney is a romantic place. I don't care that there's a person in a mouse costume around. There's some plenty of romantic moments too. So to take advantage of that is really cool. That our biggest blessing is all 3 times that we've gone to Disney with my daughter. My parents have also gone. That's because they're sickos like me. So it was super nice. Like you said, when we all went together, you guys kind of stayed in the room. There was like 2 nights where my parents, God bless them. They were really, really helpful, where I just gave them my magic band because we were staying at different hotels. I gave them my magic band so that they could get in and out of my room kind of thing. And they watched my daughter while she was sleeping kind of thing. And that was so awesome. So me and my wife, we were able to go see the fireworks together this last trip. And I hadn't seen a Disney Magic Kingdom fireworks in the previous 2 trips because we had my daughter kind of thing, but we were able to have a really nice date night where we got dinner, watched the fireworks, and then got to come back. And also it was just a joy for my parents to have one-on-one time with my daughter too, because they had her while she was awake and stuff like that. So like while we were out at dinner, they were doing one-on-one time with their granddaughter on her first trip. It was just really, really cool that they were able to get that time with my daughter. I was able to get that time with my wife, Lisa. The external family members, very helpful. And I totally get that's not something not everybody can do, but it is great. The other reason I really like it too is because if you bring kids, obviously they can't go on some rides, right? There's obviously you can do rider swap. So like Steve, if you and your wife want to ride Cosmic Rewind, one of you could ride it while the other one was holding your daughter. And then you could do a rider swap where the person doesn't have to wait in the line again, but you could now hold your daughter while your wife goes on the ride. Well, you can still do the rider swap with the grandparents, but it was nice because when we were able to do a rider swap, my parents stayed back, held my daughter. I was able to go on the ride with my wife instead of by myself. And then we came back, got my daughter, and then my parents were able to go on the ride together too. So that was super helpful for rider swap things. And I know, like I said, you can do it with one parent staying back and then doing that swap. But it is nice to be able to ride those rides with your wife and be like, hey, we did it. We brought our kids here. This is really cool. So yeah, great tip, Stevie. This was kind of long, but I think these are all really great tips.
Huge tips.
We could probably do another episode in like 6 months, a year, especially after you bring your daughter again in May, because our experience is bringing at the time you brought your infant daughter, I brought my infant daughter, now I've brought my toddler daughter, you're gonna bring your toddler daughter, and the older they get, and let's see if any more extra Mouseketeers get added into this mix in the future. We're gonna develop more tips of going with a family and bringing a family, so we'll probably do this episode again in the future with brand new tips and tricks and stuff like that. But 100%. Yeah, this is a great conversation, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great, and there's so much. So hopefully you guys took notes. And
I want to hear people's tips too. Like so on Instagram, on our YouTube page, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Drop a comment of your tips. If you agree with any of these tips, if you hated any of these tips, if you're like, how did you miss this glaring tip kind of thing? Because right now, just thinking about it, there's like 3 tips I want to share right now, but we're going a little long. So I'm going to keep those for another episode. Let us know what tips you have, because this whole Disney community, we can all learn from each other, especially bring kids, bringing family. And like the whole point of this, Stevie, is me and you are not new fathers, because my daughter's 2, your daughter's about to be 2 next month. But we're still figuring this whole thing out of traveling to Orlando with our daughters and keep making the most out of our Disney vacation. So definitely hit us up.
Yeah. And with that is the end of our episode. Guys, we always love having you. We always love that you guys are listening in or watching us. But make sure that you are still liking, subscribing, commenting, following us, downloading episodes. The more that you guys show your interest, the more that we can give you. And until next time, have a great day, guys.
See y'all later. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Dadventures Around the Kingdom. You can listen to the pod on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can also find us on our Instagram at Dadventures Around the Kingdom. If you have any ideas for future episode topics you'd like to hear, be sure to DM us on Instagram or email us at datkpod@gmail.com. Again, that's datkpod@gmail.com. If you want to follow our host Stevie on Instagram, you can do that at StevieJenko. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can also do that by following at Magical Vacays by Cam. That's my travel agency page. If you're interested in booking Walt Disney World or Disneyland vacation at no additional cost to you, feel free to DM me on there so we can definitely talk and I can get you a free, no obligation quote. Again, thanks for listening to Dadventures Around the Kingdom. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.